From BBC Learning English, this is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines.
In this programme, first treasure recovered from $20 billion sunken ship.
Hello, I'm Georgie.
And I'm Phil.
In this programme, we look at one big news story and the vocabulary in the headlines that will help you understand it.
You can find all the vocabulary and headlines from this episode as well as a worksheet on our website, bbclearningenglish.com.
OK, Phil, let's hear more about this story.
A cannon, 3 coins, and a porcelain cup have been recovered from a ship that sank over 300 years ago.
The ship, called the San Jose, was sunk by British ships in 1708 near Cartagena in Colombia.
The ship is thought to have $20 billion worth of gold and silver coins on board, according to some estimates.
Colombia, Spain, an American company, and indigenous groups in Bolivia have all claimed that this treasure belongs to them.
Colombian scientists located the ship in 2015 and launched an expedition to explore it last year.
Let's have our first headline. This one is from Fox Weather, an American broadcaster. Archaeologists recover treasures from the legendary 1708 San Jose, wrecked in war.
That headline again, from Fox Weather, an American broadcaster. Archaeologists recover treasure from a legendary 1708 San Jose, wrecked in war.
So this headline talks about the recovery of treasure from the San Jose. We're going to learn the word wrecked.
The verb wreck means to destroy or damage badly.
Yes, that's the general meaning, but it has a slightly more specific meaning when describing ships. If a ship is wrecked, it usually means that it sinks to the bottom of the sea or a river.
We often use the noun wreck or shipwreck to describe ships that are on the bottom of the sea. Where else can we use wreck?
Well, we might say that a car is wrecked by an accident or that it is a wreck afterwards.
We can also talk about our hopes and dreams being wrecked by something that stops them coming true.
Another way we use it is to describe people as a wreck or a nervous wreck if they're overwhelmed by strong feelings like sadness, shock or fear.
We've had wreck, destroy or damage badly.
For example, after the crash, my car was wrecked.
This is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines. We're talking about the recovery of treasure from the wreck of the San Jose, which was sunk near the Colombian coast in 1708.
It's not known exactly what was on the ship, but some experts believe that there could be $20 billion worth of treasure there.
There are lots of different claims about who owns the treasure. An American company claims that it found the shipwreck's location in 1981.
However, Colombian authorities disagree and say that there is nothing at that location. They say they found the ship in a different location in 2015.
Let's have our next headline. This is from Sky News, a British broadcaster. First treasures from Holy Grail of shipwrecks recovered.
And that headline again, first treasures from Holy Grail of shipwrecks recovered, and that's from Sky News, a British broadcaster.
So, we're going to learn the expression Holy Grail.
So, the Holy Grail is said to be the cup that Jesus Christ drank from during the Last Supper before his crucifixion. Medieval literature suggested that if it could be found, it would have amazing healing powers.
However, nowadays, Holy Grail has become a metaphor to describe something that many people want, but is very difficult to find.
The San Jose is described as the Holy Grail of shipwrecks because a lot of effort has been spent trying to find it.
And we can use Holy Grail to talk about anything that people really want.
Yeah, so for example, some people think finding AI that is more intelligent than humans is the Holy Grail. Others might think that the solution to climate change or finding a cure for cancer is the Holy Grail.
We've had Holy Grail, something lots of people want, but is very hard to find.
For example, finding a way to learn languages effortlessly is the Holy Grail. This is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines. Today, we're talking about the recovery of treasure from the San Jose, which has been called the Holy Grail of shipwrecks.
And here's our next headline, and this is from CBS News, which is an American broadcaster. Coins, cannon, recovered from a legendary ship that sunk 3 centuries ago with billions of dollars in treasure.
And that headline again, coins, cannon recovered from legendary ship that sunk 3 centuries ago with billions of dollars in treasure. And that's from CBS News, an American broadcaster.
And the next word we're going to learn is legendary.
Yes, legends are stories from the past that are very famous, though they are not always completely true.
And legendary is the adjective that comes from legend. Something that is legendary has been spoken about a lot over time. It's very well known.
Yeah, so the wreck of the San Jose is legendary. It sank 300 years ago, and people have been talking about its treasure since then.
When we use the adjective, we might be talking about someone from history who was very well known. Film stars, political leaders and sports personalities can sometimes be described as legendary. It means that they were very important and famous figures that are still talked about.
We also use legendary to describe characters, objects or places from ancient stories. Many people are interested in the legendary figures from Greek mythology.
We can also use it informally to describe people or events positively. For example, your birthday party was legendary. We still talk about it 6 months later.
We've had legendary, well known and talked about a lot.
For example, the film is based on the life of a legendary Indian cricketer.
And that's it for this episode of Learning English from the News. We'll be back next week with another news story.
If you want to practice what you've learnt, go to our website, bbclearningenglish.com, to see more example sentences and try our free worksheet.
And don't forget to follow us on social media. Find us at BBC Learning English.
Bye for now.
Goodbye.